In 2021, Tern made a switch from venture investor to institutional investor at Wyld, and as a result of the company's IPO, and the business has expanded. We have also increased our holdings in this exciting business through the exercise of our warrant rights earlier in the year, and we believe that this is a fundamentally good use of our capital, in that we were able to exercise these warrants at a favorable price that we believe will have significant returns to our holders. And I think, with that, it's also been a very significant year for Alastair and the company. And I'd like Alastair to provide you with an update on the progress and the exciting things that Wyld is doing in the marketplace to really bring internet capabilities to everyone. Alastair?
Thanks, Al. Evening, everybody. So I've got about 13 slides I'm going to take you through, just give you an update on where we are at the moment and some of the stuff we're doing moving forward. So excuse me one moment, slight hitch. Right, okay, so Wyld Networks at a glance. For those that don't know us, we were founded in 2016 in Cambridge in the UK, and currently we have 28 employees as of the end of Q2 this year. And as Al said, we listed on the NASDAQ First North in Stockholm in July 2021, and we also placed ourselves on the OTCQB in the US of May this year. And what do? So we provide our customers with the ability to collect data from their IoT sensors anywhere in the world by leveraging low Earth orbiting satellites. So we offer our customers a low power, low cost solution that gives them a really quick return on their investment. And our business model is very, very simple, very similar to a mobile operator in respect that we sell a piece of hardware, such as a mobile operator sells a mobile phone. We sell a piece of hardware called Wyld Connect, and our customers pay us a monthly fee for using our network. So just before I get into the whole presentation, I just want to touch a bit on Tern. Tern are our anchor investor. They are the first institutional investor that came into Wyld, and they came into Wyld in 2016. And they had a vision basically to combine two separate entities into Wyld Networks to create a world-leading virtual satellite operator for the Internet of Things. So Tern, yes, they're providing capital, but they are different to a lot of VCs in that, yes, they've provided us with capital to fund and grow the company. They provide us capital in all 3 rounds, and we're a cornerstone investor in our IPO on the NASDAQ First North, and also supported the Tier 1 warrants, which converted at about 98% early this year. But more than that, they're actually actively involved in shaping our strategy, both technically and commercially, helping us establish offices in the US, helping us with patent applications, helping us with trademarks. But they've also introduced the company to new partners and new customers around the world to actually support both our technology development, but also our revenue growth. So for those that don't know me or don't know the company, so what do? What's the problem that we're actually solving? So today, only 15% of the world's surface has access to wireless networks. The other 85% has no access to the internet. And it's this lack of global connectivity that's actually holding back the growth of IoT networks from adding about $2 to $3 trillion to global GDP over the next 10 years. So what we've done is we've developed a solution called Wyld Connect, and it's an affordable wireless solution that allows our customers to connect their IoT devices and sensors anywhere in the world to low Earth orbiting satellites, basically providing 100% connectivity. So we're basically offering our customers the ability to connect their sensors anywhere in the world. So just what are the products and what's the actual solution? So On the left-hand side, I'll just go through the three products. There's Wyld Connect Terminal. It's a terminal that connects to IoT sensors that are already deployed in the field. It transmits data up to the satellite transmits data down to Wyld Fusion, and Wyld Fusion provides that data to our customer. So that terminal sort of retails at a bit less than $100 per terminal. And then there's Wyld Connect, which is the module, which in essence is basically just the electronics that are embedded in Wyld Connect. So we've taken the electronics out, put it onto a small form factor chipset, and this is what we're currently selling in volume. And the customers that are buying Wyld Connect are integrating Wyld Connect into their sensor. So they're using a lot of the power, a lot of the microprocessing capability that exists within their sensor, but we're providing them with the connectivity piece that allows them to send their data to satellite and back to Wyld Fusion. So that's where our volume sales are coming from. And then there's Wyld Fusion, and that's the platform that sits on the other side, on the ground station side. It's a platform that sits in the cloud. It's a provisioning platform, it's a security platform, and most importantly, it's a payment platform, because this is where we generate our reoccurring revenues. Our customers have to pay us up to $5 per month per device, or $5 per month per Wyld Connect module to actually get access to their data. And that's all driven through Wyld Fusion. And then once the customer's paid for the data, then the data is delivered to their data analytics tools. So just going to go through some of the use cases, and this is quite a busy slide, so it's best not to read, probably easier to listen. So the use cases range in different market verticals: agriculture, utility, environment, energy, maritime, and logistics. And if I look at agriculture, we're working with companies like DFM, Bayer, Syngenta, British American Tobacco, and one of the use cases there is about how to increase the yield of crop and reduce the waste of water. So our solution has been integrated into soil moisture sensing sensors deployed in agriculture. That data is sent to satellite, collected from satellites, run through data analytics, and farmers and growers can look at how they can reduce or optimize the use of irrigation to increase that yield, but also reduce water. If you look at utilities, we're working with a company. One example is DEWA, it's the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority. And they've basically launched a satellite with our technology inside the satellite. And they're looking at how can they collect data to manage electricity supply? How can they collect data to look at wind shear on pylons, high voltage transmission lines, controlling the flow of water? So just an example in utilities. And if we move to the environment, we're working with a company called Trevia, looking at deforestation, and they're integrating our solution into their sensor, which gets deployed across thousands of trees in forests to look at when to harvest that timber, and also to look at the health of forests. And then if we look at energy, we're working with Chevron as an example in monitoring corrosion in pipelines. So they're putting our sensor into, or putting our device into sensors that look at collecting data to understand corrosion in pipelines, and that there are hundreds of millions of miles of pipelines in rural areas, and they'll be using our solution to collect that data to ensure that those pipelines are not leaking oil or gas. We're working with another two companies in Brazil who want to, or are deploying already, turbines, wind turbines, and they're using our solution to collect data to understand how to position that wind turbine depending on direction of wind, how much power it's generating, and who to provide that power to. In maritime, we're working with a company, and one example is Volvo. It's Penta, the maritime engine guys. You know, they will be deploying our solution into their maritime engines to actually collect data to provide preventative maintenance indications. And in logistics, we're working with companies like Senate, Maersk, American Towers, and that's all about collecting data from IoT sensors that are on the move from farm to factory to warehouse. So there are multiple use cases, and the ones that we are focusing on are obviously agriculture, utilities, environment, energy, maritime, and logistics. So, as you know, we're deploying solutions. We're signing up launch partners. We've got pilots running in over 20 locations across 4 continents. The one missing here actually is Bangladesh for British American Tobacco. That's being deployed. We have over 25 launch partners, and we've recently established a US headquarter in Missouri and implemented sales organizations in Brazil and the Middle East. So where are we in our journey? As I said, we're going to be launching the commercial service this year, but what we're actually doing at this moment is collecting purchase orders for Wyld Connect. That's the hardware module. And we launched that hardware module in March this year, and we've generated orders of about 31 million kroner to date, and that represents about 92,000 Wyld Connect modules. So that's the module that's integrated into a sensor. But obviously these orders, and we will continue to grow these orders by selling more Wyld Connect modules, but these orders at this point in time don't actually include the data service. That's the up to $5 per device per month, which is our reoccurring revenue. And we're currently out at the moment looking to get those data orders in, as well as starting to continue to sell more Wyld Connect modules. So just an idea of who we're working with. As I said, we've got about 31 million kroner worth of order backlog. That's with companies like Bayer, Trevia, DEWA, the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, Eutelsat, and a couple of others. But it's the number of launch partners that we're working with which is significantly larger, and we're going through pilots with these companies. Once we've completed the pilots, we'll then go to collecting orders for Wyld Connect. That's the hardware piece, and then collecting orders once we launch the service for the up to $5 per month per device reoccurring revenue. So companies like Syngenta, British American Tobacco, interesting, we're just deploying in Bangladesh. They have about 90,000 farms, and they're looking for 4 sensors per farm, so you can do the maths on that. Senate, largest terrestrial LoRa IoT operator in the US, and American Towers, the largest terrestrial IoT operator in Brazil. These guys want to use our solution to expand their offering from terrestrial to satellite to actually offer their customers 100% global coverage. And other companies like Chevron, who I mentioned before, and KWS. But interesting enough, I did a quick exercise on just the logos that are on this page. The market cap of all of those companies just listed on those pages is over $580 billion US. So what does it mean for us? So we know the market for the number of devices that's going to be deployed by 2025, and the market for satellite IoT devices, that's like Wyld Connect devices, is about 250 million by 2025, and not including the data piece of it. But that sort of all equates to a total addressable market in 2025 of about 5.9 billion. But what does that mean for Wyld? So our view of what that means is that we have the ability to get about 11.3% market share by 2025, which would represent a value of about $670 million US. So it's a large market that we're going after. So just some highlights before I come to a close. I think you'll all understand we are solving a real world problem from 2 aspects. The first aspect is basically getting over this problem of only having 15% of the world's surface having access to the internet. So we're providing a 100% global connectivity solution. That solves a real problem. But I think also you need to understand is the other problems that we're actually solving are very critical to the world moving forward in looking at how to use IoT devices in agriculture to reduce waste of water, to increase crop of yield, in energy, reducing spill of oil and spill of gas, and in supply chain, trying to ensure that goods get to their final destination in good quality, particularly perishable goods. So what we're doing is actually very good for the environment. We have a recurring revenue model, which is very important. So as I said, the Wyld Connect module is a one-off fee. It's about $40 for the Wyld Connect module. And then there's the $5 per month for the use of the network, and that's up to $5 per device per month, and that actually brings our recurring revenue in. We've got launch partners signed up, over 25 of those. We've got about 31 million krona in purchase orders, and we still have to add more purchase orders into that backlog and start to collect those data orders to really build up that backlog before we launch the network. We've secured patents and we've secured trademarks, and we're operating in a significant market. So I just want to sort of end with one slide and ask that we had a report written by a financial analyst company in Sweden called Redeye. It was published on Friday last week. It's about a 50-page document, and it talks about our projected revenues as they see it. It goes into full finance review of Wyld Networks. It talks about our competitors, our first step into the market, our leadership position, and also talks about what they believe is our fair value share price, which they indicate to be 24 SEK as a base case and up to 33 SEK on the best case position. Now, I do really urge you to have a look at that report. I do know that Tern put it out through LinkedIn, but if you don't have the ability to find that report, if you can send me an email at info@wyldnetworks.com, I'm more than happy to provide you with a copy of that analyst report. It's a very good report. And I guess that said, it's always good to end on a video. So here we go. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening to me. I made a slight mistake earlier on, which I'd just like to correct. When I talked about the report from Redeye that you can get access to through info@wyldnetworks.com, the actual best case position on their view on our share price was actually 48 krona, not 33 krona. Okay, Tim.
Well, thank you very much, Alastair.